Hello and welcome back to the Arcade Repair Tips video series. My name is Jonathan and today we're going to do something a little bit different than what we normally do. We've decided that we're going to do staff reviews on some different arcade related products from time to time, just so you guys can be exposed to some of the different arcade things that are out there. And so today we're actually going to be taking a look at this Miss Pac-Man Tiny Arcade Cabinet, and it's available from a company called, let's see here, Super Impulse. So there you go. Now this is a really tiny, small Miss Pac-Man cabinet. It says the smallest fully functional arcade game. But let's take a moment here and just kind of look at the arcade game itself. We're going to unbox it and then kind of compare it. As you can see, I've got a full-size Miss Pac-Man cabinet here. Kind of compare the two just to get kind of an idea of how good this little tiny arcade cabinet is. So we're going to go ahead and open up the top here. I've already opened it up, but just to show you guys, you can, when it's in the box like this, you can press the button and it will come on. If it's on, right now I have it off. So, but let's go ahead and pull it out real quick. So these guys are pretty cool. As you can see, it's a little Miss Pac-Man cabinet. We'll go ahead and take it out of the plastic to give you guys a better idea. So this thing's pretty tiny. As you can see, I'm just going to hold it up like this. Much smaller than the real thing, obviously. But you'll notice the side here. Here's a side view of the cabinet so you guys can see it. The one thing is it's a little bit different than what an actual Pac-Man cabinet looks like. So if you guys are going for like cabinet shape authenticity, this really isn't it. But as you'll see in a moment, it actually plays Miss Pac-Man pretty well. It also has a keychain on the back, as you can see, so you can actually hook it onto your keychain. Of course, this would be pretty big if you're storing it in your pocket, but you know, some people like to, you know, have big things on their keychain, so there you go. As far as the artwork goes, the artwork is pretty good. I'm going to, you know, kind of just show you guys. As you can see, it looks pretty close to the original. You know, marquee, as you can see, kind of side by side there, looks very close. A little bit wider here, and you'll see that it does have the front art as well, and then here's the other side just so you guys can see it. Now on the back of it we have an on-off switch as well, and we're going to go ahead and turn that to the on position so you guys can see it. I believe this uses 3 AAA batteries, it says here. Let me make sure of that. Yes, 3 AAA batteries, so it comes with the batteries, which is nice, and you can actually play it while it's in the box if you want to. But we'll go ahead and switch it on here so you guys can see. And as you can see on the screen, we do have a little bit of Miss Pac-Man there, actually the attract mode. So we'll go ahead and hit the start button and see what happens. And I'll hold it up here so you guys can hear it a little bit. So you can actually move, and it does actually work. So you can actually move around. Works pretty well. You can actually play Miss Pac-Man. The frame rate is a little wonky. It's not quite as good, obviously, as what you'd get with the actual arcade cabinet, but it's actually pretty decent considering all. So, and let me do the sound effects are pretty close too, as you can hear. That was the obviously the man lost sound effect there. So here we go. So we do get the, you know, the little background noises that we're used to. And, you know, when we eat the dots, let's go ahead and do some of that so you guys can hear it. Sounds like I got a super pellet there. There it is. So, I mean, it does sound pretty good. Like I said, the frame rate's a little slow on it, so it's not like the best, but overall, it's pretty good. I mean, it's playable, so you guys can play it. It's not that hard. You know, I have heard too, and you'll notice that, like I said, the shape doesn't really match a Miss Pac-Man cabinet, but there's about 4, I think, different ones in this Tiny Arcade series. All the cabinets are the same, so I think it makes manufacturing a whole lot easier on their end to just manufacture one cabinet style and then slap the different artwork on it for the different games. And so, from that perspective, you know, it's good, but again, not quite the shape of what you get with like a real Miss Pac-Man cabinet. So I noticed on mine, and I don't know if this is everybody's, and I'll go ahead and die here just real quick. And it is kind of tiny, so make sure you have your glasses on. If you guys don't have good eyesight, this is gonna be really hard to play. So I notice on mine, when I hit the 2-player, it doesn't do anything. It just kind of, you know, laughs at me. So I assume that the 2-player does not work on this, and only has a 1-up and a high score. If you guys can see that on the very top, there's a 1-up and high score there. And so there's not a 2-player option, I guess, on this. It does have the 2-player button, I guess, for authenticity's sake, but you can't actually play 2 players on it. Now I believe I paid like $20 for this, and I think for $20 it's actually a pretty good deal. I mean, for what you're getting in the package, you're getting getting something that, you know, plays and looks like a Miss Pac-Man cabinet. It's tiny, but I mean, for the most part, you can play it, and it works pretty well. It's got an attract mode. You can leave it like this. These are also hackable, and you can play, I think, hack them to play any of the 4 games that are available on these tiny arcades. From my perspective, though, I mean, since each one's individualized with the artwork and everything, I don't know if I'd want to do that, but you can look up different YouTube videos and do that. But overall, I do think this is a pretty faithful recreation of Miss Pac-Man if you guys are looking for something in a tiny tiny form factor. But overall, I mean, I think it's worth the $20 that you're going to pay for it if you guys see these around at different places. I know there's a Centipede one, I believe, and there's a couple others, so I mean, you guys can find them. I believe there's a Pac-Man. You guys can find them. We'll put a link to where we bought this one down below, and so you guys can buy them, and I'll put a link to the rest of them there, so if you guys are interested. But overall, I do think it's worth, like I said, the amount of money that you're going to spend on, about $20 or so. Now, will it ever compare to a real cabinet? Obviously not, but what you're getting here in the package, I think, is pretty good. And so, you know, with these things like this, you know, it's really to play off nostalgia, and I think they did a good job of doing that with the artwork, the gameplay, and everything like that. So, sounds are also very faithful, which is nice as well. But anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed this staff review today. And of course, my name's Jonathan. We will be putting up more staff reviews from time to time on arcade-related items. So if you guys are interested in more of that stuff, we will be showing more of those items in the future. But we thank you guys for joining us today. And remember, here at Arcade Repair Tips, when you fix the game, you play the game. Thanks for joining us, guys. Goodbye.